Oh, the White House press corps. You're never going to learn, are you? You're never going to learn. Stop trying to mess with Donald Trump. It's always going to end the same way.
It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody. You too.
You too. Stop trying. You're never going to outsmart him. It's never going to happen. So just stop trying. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving break with your family and friends, or whoever you chose to spend the day with. I was so anxious to get back and talk about everything that's going on because obviously the news didn't stop when we were away. And there was a terrible shooting in DC that didn't have to happen, a terror attack that didn't have to happen. And it has ultimately led to this chain of events that it might be one of President Trump's biggest actions of his presidency thus far. So as I'm sure you guys all know, there were 2 National Guardsmen that were shot the day before Thanksgiving, last Wednesday. It was a U.S. Army specialist, Sarah Beckstrom, who unfortunately succumbed to her injuries, and U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, who I believe is still, as of the time of this taping, in critical condition. Again, this is being treated as a terror attack because the suspect happens to be he's an Afghan national. He worked with the CIA. I'm not going to say his name right. Okay? He worked with the CIA in Afghanistan before the United States military withdrew from the country, and he was one of those people who came to the United States in 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome, who some of us were saying, hey, this is a really bad idea. Maybe we should vet these people more. And there are a lot more questions about how he went undetected because there was apparently someone who warned that the Afghan evacuee, this is from Fox News, was, quote, not functional as a person months before the National Guard shooting. He apparently, according to emails, quit his job. He stopped responding to his family before the DC shooting. They couldn't get a hold of him. It's always like they were on the FBI's radar. People were warned. Law enforcement officials were called. There's always something, right? But I remember seeing the photo of the packed flights full of all of these Afghan nationals taking off, coming to America. And we were like, hey, this is a really bad idea. Are you sure you vetted all these people? Are we sure? Should we be doing this? I remember having that conversation. I remember President Trump talking about it. I remember J.D. Vance talking about it. And here it is. What we said was going to happen has happened from a person with a Star Wars name that shouldn't have been here in the first place. Now, I will say this. When it comes to our immigration policy, President Trump has taken major action here. As a response to this, he has paused all asylum applications and has halted visas for Afghans. He's going to now review everyone who is in the United States on a green card from countries banned from travel to the United States. These are the countries of concern. You guys can see here, those of you who are listening on podcasts, it's the usual suspects. It's not just Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela. It's also like, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Sudan, Iran, Yemen, just all of the usual suspect. Somalia, right? Libya. So pausing any sort of migration from those third world countries of concern is so key. And you just can't care what people call you. You just can't care. And by the way, I just would like for you know what we should do? Control room, producers, we need to be adding up. We need to retroactively go back and we need to be adding up. We need a calculation every single time another American death happens that can be traced back to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We need to be adding up because in 20 years, I would like a calculation of how many deaths, how many American deaths can be traced back to the blood that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have on their hands. I mean, all of this, remember, if you recall, Donald Trump, right before he left office, he announced that he had a plan to withdraw from Afghanistan. And Joe Biden took over, rushed the whole thing, botched the entire freaking thing, left all the millions of dollars, probably billions of dollars worth of military equipment over there that now is in the hands of terrorists, botched the entire thing, left United States service members behind. I mean, the whole thing from start to finish was completely botched because he decided that he was going to have his administration run by DEI hires, which you can't do when you're a vegetable. Maybe if you are a functioning president like President Donald Trump, not when you're a vegetable. When you're a weekend at Bernie's president, it is actually very essential for you to have people around you that are very competent. Not like, oh, she's the first gay, lesbian, black woman, blah, blah. I want her running things. That's actually terrible policy. And I want to know in 20 years, how many actual American deaths, I want a counter, I want a ticker of how many American deaths can be traced back to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now, this should be completely obvious that this man who was here under Joe Biden's botched Afghanistan withdrawal, under Joe Biden's botched Operation Allies Welcome, it should be completely obvious that this man who was here under that crappy program that brought unvetted people into our country from a place that actually hated us, it should be totally obvious that this is Joe Biden's fault. And President Trump, of course, in his Truth Social posts, in his speeches right after this happened, was like, yeah, this is Joe Biden's fault. It didn't have to be that way. And reporters were like, well, what are you talking about? Why do you blame Joe Biden? What do you mean it's Joe Biden's fault? And Donald Trump, I would say, responded, you know what? I would say he responded with more grace and composure than I would have had I been asked that question if I were him.
Why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here. And you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
There's the picture.
And there's a law passed that it's almost impossible not to get them out. You can't get them out once they come in.
Stephen, I want an isolated shot of him holding up that picture. I want to see that picture. That is the picture that I was referring to. That you've got that picture. I mean, look, like there's no breathing room. There's no open space. This was the packed flights like this of all of these people who really, we vetted every single person. Really, you're telling me that this was a very secure, controlled way of putting all these people on the plane? They didn't all just rush onto the plane? Really? I mean, the fact of the matter is there's already tens of thousands of potential threats in the country right now, which is why Donald Trump has called for hey, you know what? Let's relook at every single person who's in here, which honestly, I love the guy. There it is. Really? You mean to tell me every single one of those people that are crammed into this giant plane, every single one of them we vetted them all. We did all of our due diligence on these people. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just total bullshit. And we said it at the time. Hey guys, this is a really bad idea to pack a plane full of people from a place that really hates us. It just in haste, trying to get all these people out. I mean, I understand, trust me, like I get it. I get it that there may have been people who really, really helped us when we needed help, but you can't do it like that. Okay? So apparently there's more than 190,000 Afghans who have been resettled under this program, Operation Allies Welcome. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And I'm going to tell you, I think some sort of an internal like terrorist memo went out from all these people saying now's the time, attack now, because there's this guy too, this Afghan national from Operation Allies Welcome who was arrested and charged for threatening to bomb he was in Fort Worth, Texas, right down the street. This is Mohammed Allah, who was arrested too. That's how I don't care to pronounce his name. His name is Mohammed. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know how to pronounce his damn name. I don't need to know it. It's a Star Wars name. He's here. He shouldn't be here. He was arrested Tuesday by the Department of Homeland Security after posting a video to his TikTok saying he was building a bomb, and he said that he was going to target a building. They're doing it in broad daylight. He also posted, by the way, a video saying, this is huge, guys. He was like, yeah, I'm just going to suicide bomb anyone who opposes Afghanis. I will commit suicide on you. I will commit suicide on anyone who has a problem with the Afghans. That's what he says. Where is your address? That's what he said. By the way, as an important aside, as we continue this conversation, this guy who, again, not white, was actually booked in jail as white. So just an important distinction, because we constantly talk about like the problem with the statistics. So if you're going through statistics of white people who are booked in jail and the crimes that they commit, just remember that people who look like this and people who has Star Wars names are actually booked in prison and jail as white. Tell me that's not intentional. Now, DHS has, since this happened, DHS has been talking about some of these dangerous, unvetted Afghans that Joe Biden, again, just let walk right in. Abdullah, Nasir Ahmed Tawat, blah, 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 blah. You have names that I can't pronounce because you shouldn't be here. Afghan nationals given legal status by the Biden administration. They were arrested and prosecuted for plotting a terrorist attack in Oklahoma City for Election Day 2024. You guys remember this? They had hundreds of rounds of ammunition and had pledged their allegiance to ISIS. Then you have Jamal Wali, an Afghan national who was led into the country under the Biden administration through Operation Allies Welcome. He shot and wounded 2 Fairfax, Virginia police officers during a routine traffic stop. He was killed by return fire after declaring, "I should have served with the Taliban." Here's another one. An Afghan evacuee arrested at Fort McCoy in Wisconsin and charged with attempting to engage in a sexual act with a minor using force, along with 3 other counts of engaging in a sex act with a minor. That's so weird. I mean, hey, at least it wasn't a goat, right? We should consider ourselves at least it wasn't the goat. It's what these people do. It's part of their culture. It's part of their religion. You're allowed to engage in sex acts with a minor. I mean, at least he didn't marry her. Like this is what we're importing on purpose. Why? That is suicide. That is suicide of this country. And that's just a drop in the bucket. That's just a drop in the bucket. Those headlines that I read you, that is just a drop in the bucket. That's just Afghanistan. There's a whole hell of a lot of countries that subscribe to the same radical ideology as those people who have been imported here for a very long time and at an accelerated rate under Joe Biden. Now, I want to play for you Tom Homan, what Tom Homan says that they plan to do since all of this has happened. It's kind of brought everything to a precipice. Here's Tom Homan on rounding all of these people up.
In these third world nations, they don't have systems like we do. So a lot of these Afghanistans, when they did get here and get vetted, they had no identification at all. Not a single travel document, not one piece of identification. And we're going to count on the people that run Afghanistan, the Taliban, to provide us any information who the bad guys were or who the good guys are? Certainly not. And many people need to understand that most terrorists in this world, most of them, aren't in any database. There's no way to vet these people. You think El Salvador or Turkey or Sudan or any of these countries have the databases or system checks that we have? Do you think the government of China, Russia, Turkey, you think they're going to share that data with us even if they did have it? There's no way to clearly vet these people, 100% that they're safe to come to this country from these third world nations. President Trump's doing the right thing, reviewing every one of these people who came under the Biden administration and drilling down on them. I really, truly think that most of them are going to end up being deported because we're not going to be able to properly vet them.
Look, I don't disagree with the process. I just wish that it wouldn't have taken 2 National Guardsmen getting ambushed in broad daylight by a terrorist for us to do this. This should have been done day one. Of course, we should pause and review every single person who has been brought to this country, every single one of them. Of course, we should be holding these people to the standard that they agreed to, which is you're going to renounce your old stuff. You're going to embrace America and American culture and our Constitution and our laws. And if you don't, get the hell out. It's really that simple. No one has a right to be here except American citizens. I mean, it's like, I get it. We have criminals here, but at least our criminals here, it's like, well, you're one of us. We have to do something with you. The criminals that we don't have to bring in, why would we? Now, part of this fight over all of this importation of these third world shithole people who believe in this backwards ideology, this bullshit ideology, this has now caused us to continue to talk about Minnesota. Last week, we were just talking about all of these Somalians who were caught ripping millions of dollars off from taxpayers in this big fraud scheme where they were pretending they had some autism clinic and then they were taking money and then they were funneling the money back into terror groups abroad. And I want to play some new findings on that from Caroline Levitt today.
According to a new bombshell report from the New York Times, Somalian migrants in Minnesota have defrauded nearly $1 billion in taxpayer-funded benefits under Democrat Governor Walz's leadership. President Trump is putting an end to this dangerous America Last approach. His position is rooted in common sense.
Tim Walz, you have some explaining to do. Now, President Trump on Truth Social, when he was talking about all of this whole big post that he made on Thanksgiving, which was, honestly, do we have the whole thing? I wish we had the whole thing. It is like the best post. I inject it into my veins, actually. It is the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life. And actually, yeah, let me read it to you here. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people, most of which are on welfare, from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. They and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. To show me the lie. Show me the lie. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. The real migrant population is much higher. This refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. As an example, here we go. Hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses and hoping against hope hope that they will be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst congressmen and women in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab and who probably came into the USA illegally in that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly, in quotation marks, she is treated when her place of origin is a decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. Show me the lie. Show me the lie. Now, Tim Walz should be under investigation. He should be under investigation. Did he have anything to do with all of this money funneling that was going on? There's a whole hell of a lot of money that's going through the state of Minnesota that's ending up back in terrorist hands. We need answers to that. Now, Tim Walz is trying to deflect. Okay, so he has a new deflection. He has a new deflection that I'm going to break here, and then I'm going to come back with my panel, and I'm going to show my panel this deflection, and I want to get their thoughts on all of this. First, I want to thank our sponsor, Jase Medical. So Jase Medical is there for those of you who listen. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you've ever thought about parasites, but if you've never done a parasite cleanse, you need to head over to Jase Medical right now, get a parasite cleanse kit, okay? But on top of that, if you don't yet have a Jase case, Jase Medical can give you emergency medication and prescription antibiotics in this one ready-to-go case. They're going to ship it directly to your home so that if there's remember, it's just like with emergency food. You don't wait until emergency strikes. You have to be prepared beforehand to make sure that if there's a supply chain that's disrupted, if there's a natural disaster, whatever the case may be, you don't want to be in a pinch and not have a life-saving medication that you need. They also have Jase Daily, which is a 12-month supply of everyday medications so that, if you have a medication that you take every single day, just go get it. Go get the Jase Daily. They've got Jase Aid as well, 3 levels of tactical first aid kits, ensuring you're prepared for everything from everyday medical issues to large-scale trauma, which could happen because we're letting all the damn terrorists in, okay? Go check them out right now. You can get 20% off Jase gift cards. That's huge. That's free money right now over at jase.com, okay? Enter promo code Sarah at checkout for a discount on your order. That is promo code SARA at jase.com. So Tim Walz, in response to hey, knock, knock, what's going on in your state? Why are all these Somalians taking over and taking taxpayer money and funneling it to terror groups? Do you have any idea that was happening? Do you have anything to do with it? Tim Walz, instead of answering those questions, he's trying to deflect. But because he's retarded, as President Trump mentioned, he was his idea was very half-baked. He's release the MRI that you took, Donald Trump, because there's something wrong with you. You must be hiding something. And so President Trump was asked about that in Air Force One. And you know what? It was such a beautiful response by President Trump.
News Nation, failing News Nation.
No, sir, we're not failing.
News Nation is doing lousy, by the way. But if you want to have it released, I'll release it.
Please, can you tell us what they were looking at?
For what, releasing?
No. What part of your body was the MRI looking at?
I have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody. You too.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Goodbye, everybody. You too, by the way. And you. Probably also you. Goodbye, everybody. Now, psych on Tim Walz was release the MRI. Okay, well, they just did. And apparently it says, summary, this level of detailed assessment is standard for an executive physical at President Trump's age and confirms that he remains in excellent health overall. Excellent overall health. Nothing out of the ordinary. And so Tim Walz was oh, shit, I don't have anywhere else to go. So he went on NBC to complain about being called retarded instead.
Using that term is just so damaging. It's hurtful. We have fought 3 decades to get this out of our schools. Kids know better than to use it. But look, this is what Donald Trump has done. He's normalized this type of hateful behavior and this type of language.
Right.
And mainly, look, at first, I think it's just because he's not a good human being.
Right. Okay. So you can call us Nazis. You can call us white supremacists. You can call us all the worst things in the world. I think being called literally Hitler is much more damaging than being called retarded, especially when you're retarded, Tim. Okay? Now, I'm going to play one more clip for you of President Trump responding to the media like, but what would you say about calling Tim Walz retarded? Do you have any regrets? I'm going to bring in my panel right after we hear from President Trump on, do you have anything to say? Would you have done things differently? Of course not. Have you ever met the guy?
In that same post, you mentioned Tim Walz, and you called him what many Americans do find an offensive word, retarded. Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz retarded?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with him. Sure.
But you don't think that...
You have a problem with him? You know what? I think there's something wrong with him. Anybody that would do what he did, anybody that would allow those people into a state and pay billions of dollars out to Somalia. We give billions of dollars to Somalia. It's not even a country because it doesn't function like a country. It's got a name, but it doesn't function like a country. Yeah, there's something wrong with Walz.
I mean, seriously, like, am I supposed to be more offended by President Trump saying Tim Walz is retarded, or am I supposed to be more offended by Tim Walz importing a bunch of Somalians to shit on our country and also take our money and send it to terrorist groups? I don't know. In my world, I'm way more offended by the Tim Walz thing and less offended by the Donald Trump thing. But I want to get my panel's reaction here. Welcome to the show. We have Chad Prather, host of the Chad Prather Show, along with Adam Johnson, everyone's favorite insurrectionist and the author of Taking a Stand, which is out now. You can get it there it is, unlicenssedfurnituremovers.com. I'll let you connect the dots there on that. So Chad, listen, I'm like, you guys call us all the names, literally Hitler, Nazi, white supremacists, all this. I'm supposed to be offended that Donald Trump called a retarded governor retarded?
Well, he's retarded. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, Kamala Harris was retarded. It's a whole slew of retardation. Listen, the word retarded comes from the Latin word retardere, which means to be slow or to delay or to hold back. The dude is held back. In music theory, I mean, literally, it means slowing down.
What is it?
I mean, the word retarded is used over and over again.
Yep. You're right.
I mean, Tim Walz, are you kidding me? I mean, this dude could lead a 2-car procession and cause a pile up. He's an idiot. He's literally the politician's participation trophy.
He is. And I feel like it was nice that President Trump didn't also call him gay and retarded, because you could make that argument too.
All right, look, you made the point earlier. And Adam's the one who could really speak to this deal. I mean, he's been called everything in the world. Because, again, I mean, not everybody can write a book about taking a podium and taking a stand like that. That's amazing. Not everybody gets that kind of gift. But their rhetoric is getting people shot at, getting people killed.
Exactly.
Literally, it's happening. So the guy said he'd put his windows up so they could sniff the tires burning in downtown Minneapolis during the George Floyd riots. That's retarded.
Yeah, he's got a long list of doing retarded things. My favorite was him putting tampons in men's bathrooms and boys' bathrooms in schools. So I'm a big believer in fruits and trees. If your tree is producing a certain type of fruit, I'm going to call you that type of tree. And that type of tree is very, very retarded. This man has a long history of this, though. I mean, and look, let's not pretend that mental retardation has not become a pandemic of the left the past few years. It's definitely contagious. I'm not sure who's patient zero, but I might throw a dart at Biden and say, maybe that guy. Maybe it rubbed off to Kamala, then rubbed off to Tim Walz.
Oh, I think you're onto something with that theory, Adam. And I will also say that with this contagion of retardation going on in the Democrat Party, at a certain point, it did also get to Jasmine Crockett, who went on to one of these mainstream media outlets and started saying this.
But obviously, in Trump's America, this is exactly what he wants. And the idea that one person can get out of line and commit such a horrific crime as shooting two National Guardsmen that never, ever asked to be here. In fact, we know the young lady that lost her life, specifically, we're saying that this is a waste of time. But now you want to go against every single immigrant. That doesn't make sense. And it's frankly not who we are, because if that's the case, let's talk about the white supremacists and how many of them need to be kicked out of this country, because I can guarantee you I can track down more crimes that they've committed, because overall immigrants have a lower crime committal rate than white supremacists. But we don't want to talk about that in this country.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, guys. But I mean, number one, I hear Jasmine Crockett suggesting that now we can deport American citizens, and I'm kind of down with it. I've been dying for an opportunity to deport all of you gay and retarded people. So if we're listen, I was going to make the argument that American citizens have to stay because of the rules and stuff. But now I'm kind of on board with her idea, especially when we're the ones who are in charge. I have a whole list of people I would like to deport, Chad.
Well, they want to leave anyway. I mean, I just saw today Ellen DeGeneres is coming back because of something with the weather or something in the UK or something like that. So she can put up with the racist bigotry of Donald Trump over the weather in the UK. I don't know. It's weird. I can't keep up with their deals anymore. You know, somebody sent me a message the other day on my Before the Noise website, and they said, you and Sara Gonzales have got to quit using the R word. No, we don't. We don't. Because, again, if they keep doing it, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that should have been bullied out of you in 7th grade on the playground. This level of ignorance should have been taken away from you a long time ago. But somebody let you keep using words and the actions that back up those words that make no sense. There's no common sense. There's no critical thinking. These people have lost it. I don't know if they ever had it, to be honest with you. But again, what are we doing here? These people don't want to be in America. This is not the United States of America. We're not united. I'm not united with these people at all. And I don't want to be. They kill their babies.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that, Chad, because, Adam, it is something that I often think about, that people are like, this is so divisive, like we need to come together. And I'm like, that is the party of Satan, and I will never come together with that party. I understand maybe 20, 30 years ago, like your mom's Republican and Democrat party was much more like, oh, it's just minor disagreements. And like but we both agree that we should keep the fabric of this country and, you know, the values upon which it was founded. But like now, this is the party of, as Chad mentioned, killing their babies. And by the way, not like in secret, like we're going to shout it from the rooftop. We believe in full-term abortion, late-term abortion. We want to import criminals. And by the way, when you try to deport them, we're going to fight for them to stay. We love the gang members. We love the cartels. There is nothing that I want to come together on with this current party.
I agree. You know, we used to have this metaphor of coming to the table where all of us could share ideas and we can all find common ground. And, you know, I remember back during COVID, they wouldn't let us come together for Thanksgiving over a cold. These people don't want to come to the table. They don't want to be part of the Venn diagram. And if you want to be part of the left, it's never about the word retard or the word, you know, we don't want to call it abortion. It's women's health care. It is always about getting these people getting us to come to their side by foregoing our convictions. And as conservatives, we refuse to do that because we have convictions and they have marching orders. That's why we will continue to push a narrative of truth, a narrative of life is life at conception. And we are a people who are free, who will use words and have opinions, and we won't apologize for it.
Yep. Amen. All right. Before we go to break, I do want to give you guys an opportunity to promote your stuff. Adam, your book is available at unlicensed.furnituremovers.com.
That is correct. Yep. We got some other merchandise over there. Get it for Christmas. I'm here for a couple more weeks. So if you order now, I'll make sure it gets there under the tree.
Dude, I should have thought to wear, he has these really sick hats and I have one and I should have thought to wear it. And I didn't plan appropriately, Adam, but I will try to remember that for next time. But I did think that the Trump was right about everything hat was pretty Like it was pretty good for today, right? Since we're talking about all this stuff. Chad, tell everyone where they can find you. What do you got any like Cyber Monday
Hey,
stuff
I got a book. It's called Born for Meaning. It hit the bestseller list, actually. It's been out for a couple of months now. Born for Meaning is a great book. Adam's is far more entertaining, I guarantee you that. But it's a good book. It's doing pretty well. And, of course, we've started the whole new thing called Before the Noise every morning. So I encourage people to go to beforethenoise.com. You can get everything over there.
Perfect. Beforethenoise.com. Go check it out. And then you can find me, since we're promoting, you can find me at AmericanBeautyBySarah.com. We've got a Cyber Monday deal going on. You can get 30% off of your order with the promo code Cyber Monday over at AmericanBeautyBySarah.com. Go stock up makeup and skincare for your wives or your girlfriends or yourself. I won't tell. I'm a capitalist. I'll take it. AmericanBeautyBySarah.com. All right. Want to thank our sponsor, and then we'll jump back into it. MDHearing. So MDHearing was created to help people reclaim their hearing without forcing them into all these expensive appointments or complicated technology. And it was founded by a doctor who was like actually shocked to hear how expensive traditional hearing aids were. I was too. When I heard that hearing aids can cost thousands of dollars, I'm like, are you joking just to hear again? So that's why he founded it. He wanted to make it affordable for people who are having trouble hearing. It's rechargeable, lightweight, designed to adapt to your specific hearing needs so that, you can actually hear again. You can hear your spouse. Maybe you don't want to hear your spouse nagging. I don't know. So if you don't, just ignore me. But if you do, go check them out. They've got a Neo and Neo XS model that's very, very, it's very high tech, but it fits, it's very discreet. It fits all the way in your ear. No one is going to see it. No one's going to know that you have a hearing aid. So go check them out. Go to shopmdhearing.com. Use promo code Sarah to get a pair of hearing aids for $297. They're going to throw in a free extra charging case. That's a $100 value just for listeners and viewers of this program. That is shopmdhearing.com. Use promo code Sarah. Well, we have a huge admission from the FDA about the dangers of the COVID shot. This is the latest. The FDA admits COVID shots killed 10 children and vows new vaccine rules. So here's what happened. The FBI director said in a memo, an internal review found that at least 10 children died after and because of receiving the COVID vaccine. Now, this is something that I've been trying to sound the alarm on for a very, very long time. And it is very refreshing to hear this coming to light. By the way, boy, if you think that COVID shots were the first time that children were harmed from a vaccine program, oh boy, wait till you hear about the CDC schedule. All right. So this is something that anyone with open eyes has seen for a very long time. There's this well-reported uptick of myocarditis when children took the shot. You had these young boys who were developing it. Not normal, despite what the Biden administration tried to tell you. And then the Johnson & Johnson, that clot shot was quietly taken away when it killed people. And you still have all of these lefties. Again, this is where the retardation thing comes back, okay? I'll stop calling them retarded when they stop acting like it. Because despite all of this, despite the fact that all of these drug makers try to hide the negative effects, despite all of that, despite what you see in front of your very eyes, you still have doctors trying to peddle total lies.
Here we just have the FDA saying, trust us, we know this to be true, without giving us any clear evidence.
In fact, NBC reports that the memo did not include the children's ages or medical histories, timelines or documentation for the deaths he references, does not identify the manufacturer of the vaccine. The FDA's findings haven't even been published in a peer-reviewed journal. Doctor, what do you make of that? And do we have any details about these deaths?
No, it's an unprofessional and irresponsible thing to do.
You know that. So the guy that you see on your screen right now, this doctor, that's Dr. Paul Offit. He is one of the, he has gotten totally rich. He is one of the benefactors of the fact that you go and inject your child with poison because you think that they need it to go to school. He is one of the largest benefactors of that. So please, who are you going to believe? The man who stands to financially benefit from the vaccine program? That guy? By the way, total retard. Or the FDA, who is looking at this objectively. And of course, all of these things happen. Oh, because they didn't tell us the ages of the children. We're supposed to throw it all out the window. I mean, I can't. I'm very, very. Look, I want to bring in my panel again. I don't want to sound like I am upset about this because I'm actually extremely encouraged by this. I need them to keep making this progress because as we know, or I'll just speak for me, as I know, as I mentioned, the COVID shot is just the tip of the iceberg. I have to believe that the FDA is just using this as like a stair step that we will eventually get to. Oh yeah, by the way, this has been happening the entire time with many more than just the COVID shot, Adam.
So interesting. They're fascinated with comorbidities now. Back when we said, well, no, that person was, at risk for dying because he weighed 400 pounds and smoked for 60 years. It wasn't COVID. It was, that's what killed him. On top of this, VAERS, a lot of people don't know what VAERS is. It's how you report accident injuries if you take a vaccine. So they actually changed VAERS reportings and how they looked at it during COVID because a lot of people were reporting injuries from the vaccines. And the way they reported it was within 10 to 14 days of getting the vaccine, anything reported as an adverse effect of the vaccine was not attributed to the vaccine. So, and of the 96 cases, the 10 kids they found in the 96, how many cases weren't considered over the past 4 years of kids getting COVID shots as well? Yeah. I have genuine concerns because they weren't looking at all the cases that were being reported through VAERS. They were looking at very specific ones and deleting 90% of the other ones.
Yeah, that's a great point. And by the way, for the audience to reference, VAERS, it's already been, I believe it was Harvard that did the study. It may have been Yale. One of them smart schools. But they said that it's only actually 10% of vaccine injuries of these adverse events are actually reported to VAERS. So you can reliably multiply this by 10 when you're talking about the amount of children, the amount of people who have been harmed by this vaccine and others, Chad.
Hey, listen, we were told we were crazy, right? They told us we were the conspiracy theorists. Somebody sent me a message the other day and said they'd like to listen to me until they found out that I was all for mandating vaccines. I was like, that's retarded. I know, people don't pay attention because, again, people don't pay attention. That's why we use words like retard because they don't critical think and they don't have common sense. Listen, they told us we were anti-science. Did they tell us anything true about COVID? Anything at all? No. We're the danger to society even for asking questions, right? I got deplatformed, demonetized. You got a lot of that stuff. Suddenly, you got one of their own that's going to say you got pediatric deaths and same people who told us to shut up and comply. They're the ones who are guilty. That guy's going to get rich off of it. Where's the outrage? Where's the accountability? Where's the apology? It's just going to be spin and damage control. And that's going to be the problem because this is the pattern. It's always been the freaking pattern. They want the obedience, but never the transparency. And when they get called out, nobody's ever held accountable. So, to Adam's point, listen, they demand trust, but they never earn our trust, ever. They've done nothing but lie to us. There's not an institution in this country you can believe anymore. And big pharma and big medical's right at the top of the list.
Yeah, you're right. Although I would just say you're right. The only medical type of establishment, complex, whatever you want to call it, that I trust now is, of course, the FDA and HHS under the direction of RFK Jr. That's the only one because he has not there. It's like there's nothing for him to gain. If he took this job because he wanted to financially gain, to gain popularity, any of that, all he's done is create enemies of all of the people who should be his friends, right? Like you have the Democrats who he ran as a Democrat. These people should be his friends and they've totally ostracized him for this particular reason. So it's like he's not gaining anything. He puts a target on his back every day because he fights for this. I'm going to trust that guy as opposed to Dr. Paul Retard Offit. I'm just trying to see how many times we can use that word in our show today. We'll piss all the right people off. Yeah. All right. We're going to go ahead and take one more quick break. We'll be back with the panel. I want to thank our sponsor of this segment, American Giant. So American Giant is, they've got really great apparel that is made right here in the United States. They've got top quality materials, very, very strong and beautiful craftsmanship. So every single piece that they have lives up to what made in America really actually means. You can actually feel the difference. My husband has a hoodie from them and the fabric, there's weight to it. Like, you can tell the difference in this material and the way it holds its shape wash after wash. I am telling you guys, it's not going to be the lowest cost, okay? This is not made in China crap. This is not like I'm going to go buy something off of Amazon that's super cheap. It's not, but it's made to last. It's going to last forever. His hoodie is a prime example of that, and it's something that's worth owning. So go support an American company, and you're going to know that you're going to get your money back in spades for the amount of time that these things are going to last you. If you need a sweatshirt, if you need some pants, some shorts right there, as you see, buy American today at American-Giant.com. Save 20% when you use my name, Sarah, at checkout. That is American-Giant.com. Promo code Sarah at checkout. Well, CNN is very bothered. CNN is very bothered by President Trump, just kind of like he's had it. He's done. He's over all of their PC bullshit. And we've been able to tell from the last several weeks. I mentioned earlier over the weekend, he had the "Are you stupid?" quote. And we also had these zingers over the last couple of weeks. Here's one.
Sir, is there something incriminating in the file, sir?
Quiet, Piggy. Quiet, Piggy, you're being greedy. Quiet. And then, of course, this.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just
so
a
you
terrible...
get the idea, right? Now CNN, very upset. Very upset. They're trying to spin a new narrative. They think they're really going to get Trump this time with this.
President Trump has increased his attacks against female journalists in recent weeks, calling them everything from stupid to ugly to piggy. And that matters because press freedom groups would tell you that this has become an unmistakable pattern of hostility during the president's second term. The bottom line is that press freedom experts say that this type of rhetoric contributes to the global decline in press freedoms because it creates an environment of intimidation, especially for female journalists.
Like, oh, it's violating freedom of the press because Donald Trump calls you out on your disingenuous bullshit, Chad. Like, I'm sorry. No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. He's letting you in. He's letting you ask the question. He's going to say whatever the hell he wants, and you need to be prepared. So if your question's retarded, be prepared.
Well, you got to remember, they just went through 4 years of a guy who had note cards with pictures on them, and he knew who to call on and in what order, so they could run carte blanche around the press pool in the press room and do whatever they want to do, ask anything they wanted to, and they got a circle back kind of answer. They never got anywhere because, again, they're used to the spin. Trump doesn't put up with that stuff. Whether you like his rhetoric or not, he doesn't put up with that stuff. These people, you know, they said the same stuff when he did the WWE wrestling meme with CNN on the top of the head. It's like they're so dumb. It's like just manufacturing victimhood and oppression. Like, just do your freaking job. Tell the story with objective journalism and go on about it. Collect your paycheck and shut up.
Right, exactly. Well, and also, Adam, President Trump has never been discriminatory in his insults. He insults men, I would say, equally whenever he finds that they're like, I refer back to one of my favorite President Trump tweets that Barney Frank's nipples were protruding and he called him disgusting. Like, this is a guy who he will say whatever the hell he wants about you. It has nothing to do with you being female.
I completely agree. And look, you're not going to ever, I think it's cute. They're trying to get me to have feelings for reporters and journalists. I think it's cute. You know, if you know anything about me and what they said about me and my family and the lies they made up and spread for 4 years and continue to do, you know, I'm sorry, you've come to the wrong place if you want me to feel bad for you. And, you know, maybe they should be better. Maybe they should do better because the American people do deserve better. We do. Absolutely. So I don't care. I hope they cry more and I hope he keeps going on with it.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm like, this is actually very refreshing. It feels like he really has hit a precipice where he's just like, no, you know what? No, I'm done. I don't have to run again. I don't have another 4 years I'm trying to campaign for. I'm just done. And I'm going to call you guys out on your bullshit. And I really don't care how you feel about it. And it's been really beautiful to watch in my opinion. I'm like, every day I'm like, I can't wait to hear what he says to them next. They deserve to be put in their place. He was right when he said the mainstream media is the enemy of the people. That was one of the most true things he's ever said. Anywho, Adam Johnson, Chad Prather, I appreciate both of you guys, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.